So, Batman, the Court of Owls. In one word, it's batastic. You know what? I actually got that pun offline. I stand by it. So before I give my official review, I'm going to read a synopsis of what happens in this volume. If you don't want any spoilers, fast forward to my review or just click out of the video now because there are spoilers ahead. So let's get into this. I'm Batman. Batman puts down an insurrection at Arkham Asylum when one of the guards is paid to release all the inmates. Later returning to his public life, Bruce Wayne unveils his massive new development plans to bring Gotham City into the future. Later, Harvey Bullock discovers a tortured murder victim pinned to the wall of his apartment with numerous knives bearing an owl insignia. They find the message on a wall saying that Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow, and Batman finds Dick Grayson's DNA under the victim's fingernails. His autopsy alongside Commissioner Gordon reveals a possible connection to the Court of Owls, an urban legend taken from a nursery rhyme. Nightwing explains that the man grabbed him and tried to warn him at an earlier public appearance. Bruce Wayne is attacked by a deadly assassin known as the Talon during a meeting with a politician named Lincoln March. They grapple out of the window at the top of Wayne Tower, which Bruce survives while the killer plummets into a car. Pronounced dead, he later reawakes in the ambulance and walks free after murdering the emergency team. Alfred recalls the story of Alan Wayne, Bruce's great-great-grandfather, who went mad and died raving that owls were out to get him. March is later hospitalized but insists that he will continue his memorial bid despite warning from the owls. Investigating every building built in the last century by Alan Wayne's trust, Batman discovers a series of Talon's hidden bases containing pictures of the court. When he arrives at the most recent, Talon watches on as the building explodes. Escaping the burning building, he returns to the Batcave. Bruce performs an autopsy on Alan Wayne and determines that he was tortured to death in a similar manner as the earlier murder victim. Dick asks him why he refused to believe that the court might be real, and Bruce recounts a story from his childhood. Following the death of his parents at the hands of Joe Chill, he spent months investigating a possible connection to the court, allowing his emotional need for a conspiracy to get in the way of the case almost destroyed him. And all subsequent attempts have turned up to no evidence. Returning to the sewer where Alan Wayne's body was found, the Talon takes him by surprise and abducts him. He wakes up in a giant labyrinth and is welcomed by the Court of Owls. Trapped inside the giant maze, he spends over a week with no food, slowly going insane, to the point of hallucinations. The labyrinth has been used for decades. Words and pictures on the walls tell stories of all the men and women they have killed over the years. Breaking through a panel in the floor, he drops into a room that tells his own story. The Talon walks up from behind him and stabs him in the gut. Broken and bleeding, they decide to honor him by leaving his bones on display at the labyrinth as a tribute to a worthy enemy. Talon lets the court decide on how to dispose of him, and they order more pain. Batman receives a brutal beating, almost accepting his death until a picture of the tortured Alan Wayne spurs on him. With his last ounces of strength, he tears out the owls off of him, and he savagely takes down the Talon before knocking him out. Determining they must be near a river, he rigs a makeshift explosion and escapes to the water. The oldest owl has her men dispose of the failed Talon and reveals that she has met an army of more Talons to release on Gotham City. Bruce is rescued and revived using jumper cables by a girl named Harper Row. He limps back to the Batcave to perform an autopsy on the Talon to determine his origins and the source of his immortality. Nightwing arrives to talk to him about trust, and Bruce reveals that the assassin was Dick's great-great-grandfather. Dick was originally intended to be a Talon, and Haley's Circus has been giving the court Talons for years. The Court of Owls released an entire legion of Talons at Gotham City, leading to the Night of the Owls, which is Volume 2. I'm Batman. So, my thoughts on this comic. It's amazing, it's batastic, and it is a modern classic. Here are the pros and cons. Scott Snyder introduces a great new villain into the Batman mythos. Greg Capullo's art is stunning. They really test Batman in this way that they shake him to his foundation because he thinks that he knows Gotham like the back of his hand, and in reality he doesn't. The court shows him that they've been here for hundreds of years. They've been pulling the strings while he's been flapping around in his little cape, and they have been basically controlling everything. They've been screwing with his family, and it is just, I love that. I also love how they introduced this new character, Lincoln March, who is very important in the second volume, so keep an eye on him. And I also love how they tie in the Court of Owls to the Grayson family, which is just, it's flawless. I am a huge fan of Dick Grayson, so I really love how they were able to incorporate him in this story, and he was just, I love him. But besides that, the cons, there's not a lot of other people from the Batman family besides Bruce and Dick and Alfred and Commissioner Gordon to a certain extent. I mean, Damian only pops up for like one panel or two. He's not really too important. So if you're like a Jason Todd fan, Tim Drakes, Barbara Gordon, Stephanie Brown, all those people, Damian Green, all those, you're not going to find a lot of them in here. This is more a Batman-centric story and not a Batman family-centric story. So, yeah, it really focuses just on him. But it's amazing. I mean, it's a modern classic. It is definitely a 5 out of 5. If you are a Batman fan, it's a must-read. If you are a comic book fan, it's a must-read. If you are someone who's trying to get into Batman or comic books, I recommend you pick this up, you read it. I guarantee you'll have a great time with it. It is really good. I mean, in my opinion, it's a 5 out of 5. The pros outweigh the cons tremendously. So, pick this up, guys. Really, it's bat-tastic. It's amazing. Just do yourselves a favor, pick it up, because it's great. It's bat-tastic, and I regret nothing.